Shalom, shalom, family. Welcome once again to Shabbat Night Talk. My name is Uziel Lewy. I'm one of the teachers at Congregation BINAH BINAH. I'm happy to be here with the family, with my people, Yisrael. Thanking the Most High King for wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, food, clothing, and shelter. I'm thanking the Creator for all of you, and also thanking the Creator for he bring me the D.C.B phone. Thank you. Thanking the Creator for everything. Thanking the Creator for this holy Shabbat day, and thanking the Creator for all of you that join us, that support us, that continue to be with us and make us who we are. Shalom, shalom. Kawa, CC, Wanza, and my sister Malka. Shabbat shalom to you also. And to everyone out there that's listening to us, we thank you for joining us. Shabbat shalom to Moradina, Julie Figueira, I hope I'm saying it right, Figueira, and Ima Matanya Levy. Shabbat shalom. I thank the Creator of heaven and earth for my life and everything that he does. I'm trying to come over here and do something real quick. How y'all feeling out there? Hope that y'all are having a blessed Shabbat evening, and that you people are out there holding up and doing all the right things, and continue to stay strong and all that good stuff. Give me a second here as I'm trying to share this stuff. Put it on my channel. Make sure that it goes on my channel, so everybody out there will be able to see it. I'm trying to stream now basically from the D.C.B channel. Let that pick up some steam. So all of you could share it out there to your channels, so that people could be aware of us being on. Thanking the Creator once again. I got this fly flying around here, so if you see a fly flying behind me, buzzing behind me, or right in front of me, I've been trying to catch up with this fly. I'm gonna get it. So how y'all doing? I'm glad to be here with y'all once again. I'm glad to be here worshiping this great King, regardless of any obstacles in life. We must give glory to this great King and thank him for everything that he does for us, no matter what we're going through in life. All right? We got to be thankful to this great King. So I'm thankful to this great King for all things and everything. And I hope that we could I'm kind of tired tonight, but I'm here with y'all. You know, I'm here with y'all, looking forward to being with y'all and I'm here with y'all. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue in the book of Ben Sirach, or Ecclesiasticus and the Apocrypha. Last week, during Shabbat night service, I did chapter 28. The afternoon on the Shabbat day, I did chapter 29, and I'm going to continue in chapter 30 because I believe there's some pertinent stuff that we could get out of these chapters, and I believe that it'll be helpful, very helpful to many of us. All right, so the book of Ben Sirach, or as is known as Ecclesiasticus, and the book of the Apocrypha, chapter 30, verse 1. Hallelujah. Concerning children, he who loves his son will whip him often, so that he may rejoice at the end at the way he turns out. So that he may rejoice at the way he turns out. So when it says you whip him often, meaning this is not really, it's not speaking about abusive or being abusiveness or anything like that. It's just talking about, it's basically what this means is like when they need to be tightened up, you need to tighten them up. So that at the end, you'll be happy with the end result of what your child has become. Because a child left to themselves, or children left to themselves, become willful. So the best bet is tighten them up when you have to tighten them up. Put them in line when you have to put them in line. So that at the end you won't pass any shame, or you won't have any shame in their actions and the things that they're doing. That's basically what it's speaking about. It says here, verse 2. He who disciplines his son will profit by him, and will boast of him among acquaintances. He who disciplines. Now, discipline doesn't only entail you whipping or doing anything like that. Sometimes you got to do punishment. You got to take away certain things. But what that teaches them is that when they do something wrong, that there are going to be repercussions for wrongdoings. There's punishment for wrongdoing. So they become accustomed to not doing that which is wrong because they don't want to be punished. It's like the same when you out here, you wilding out, you're doing certain things, and then you get caught, then you get incarcerated. That's your time out, so that you could consider or reconsider the actions that you've been taking. So those are the things that we need to look at when we are disciplining our children. Every now and then you got to take away that cell phone. You got to take away those video games. You got to take away all those things that hit them right in the breadbasket, the things that they love to do, in order so that they learn some discipline. Discipline is very important. It says here, he who disciplines his son will profit by him, meaning you will gain something by it, and will boast of him among his acquaintances. And then you could talk about your son in a good manner amongst your acquaintances, because all your acquaintances are not going to have a good thing to say about their sons. Not all of them, because some sons are not that good, some daughters are not that good, but the ones that are good, make up for the ones that don't do that good. It says here, he who teaches his son will make his enemies envious, and will glory in him among his friends. What do you teach your son? You teach your sons the values of life, that he has to go out there and work. Teach him how to do certain things around the house, so that when he becomes a man, that he already knows how to fend for himself. Us as fathers and parents, we have to put that into our children. Sons and daughters, we have to put that into our children, so that when they grow up, they'll have a smooth transition. Got to teach them about a bank account and how to do certain things, and how to save, and how to cut grass, and how to do certain things. As children get older, you have to put them in positions to succeed. they don't look at it as it's a position to succeed, but the more things that you're armed with, the better you will be in life. Right? The better you'll be in life. It's like if your father's a mechanic, if your father been taking you to the garage since you was 14 and 15, by the time you graduate from high school or the time you get first year in college, you could, and your friends have cars, you could fix their cars and fend for yourself. So those are the sort of things that you do. You know, you got mothers and grandmothers that know how to sew, that know how to knit, that know how to do certain things. And if it's passed down to a child, then those things are also things that will help you in the long run. Like right now, you got congregation I go to, there's nobody really that knits, that makes kippah. We got to keep going out and buying these kippah from people. You know, before there was people that would make them, and we will never buy a kippah from anybody, but because the tradition is not being passed down, people are not doing it. The youth are not interested in it, so it dies out with some people. So those are things that need to be passed down and things that need to be understood so that we could stand and be approved as a man and as a woman. The more things you got underneath the belt, the better you are the better you are to survive in this world where there's so many things that are stacked up against us. So we need to learn as many things as we can in order to be able to do what we have to do, you know, to survive. It says here, when the father dies, he will not seem to be dead, for he have left behind him one like himself, whom in his life he looked upon with joy, and at death without grief. So when the father is dead, when your father passes away, because if you're such a good son, when your father passes away, it'll be like if you didn't, like you wasn't dead. Because if your father was a good man that looked out for the poor and the needy, that was always there for people and stuff like that, you're going to continue in that. Because you are in the reflection of your father. We are reflections of our parents, our fathers and our mothers. So when your father died, you know, rest assured that you're carrying in those traditions to the fullest. For he had left behind him one like himself, whom in his life he looked upon with joy. So the father don't have no worries because he left behind one like unto him, right? And the father looked upon that son or that daughter in joy. You know what it is for a parent not to really have joy of a child? That is the most heart-wrenching thing. The child is, you know, acting as if everything is okay. And the parent is just looking at that child and saying, they just don't know. You know, you exhausted all conversations. You did all types of stuff. But they just don't know. They follow in their own treacherous and wicked ways. And eventually the Most High God deals with those type of peoples. You know, so those are things that we have to be aware of. He have left behind him an avenger against his enemies and one to repay the kindness of his friends. So he left behind one that definitely will avenge his enemies. It's like how David told Solomon not to let I forgot his name, flees me, but not to let his head go to the grave in peace. The one who cursed him, I always forget his name. Cursed him and spat at him as Absalom took over the reins of the kingdom for a little while. Is it Shimei? I think it's Shimei, right? If I'm wrong, please correct me, but I think it's Shimei. He was out there cursing and spitting at the king. You know, so those type of things. So when Solomon came into reign, as we talking about, you leave one behind that's like unto you that will avenge of your enemies. Is this, you know, Solomon was the avenger because eventually Solomon had him killed because Solomon left him a decree that he should not leave the city some time went past and he felt that Solomon had forgotten about what he told him, and he left the city. It was reported back to Solomon, and he died. He got killed. Whoever spoils his son will bind up his wounds and will suffer heartache at every cry. So when you spoil the child, you know, it says if you spare the rod, you spoil the child. So it all coincides. So when you spoil the child, you're really setting yourself up for heartache and pain. And see, you can't give everything to children. You can't allow them just to have everything just like that. They have to work for certain things. Some of us come from destitute situations, and we feel like, you know, we're going to give our children what we never had. But what you're doing is really destroying that child. Because the whole concept of life is you work hard to get what you get. You know, the Most High told Adam, it's about the sweat of your brow shall you eat. So we got to put that in children from young. But if you spoil them and you give them everything, at the end, they're going to bring you headache and pain. You know, you're going to be paying rent for them. Because you never taught them the values of going out there and having a skill and doing certain things. So when you have children, yes, you have servants. You have to put them to clean up, to wipe down, to cut grass, to cut flowers, to pick this, to do that, to carry this, to carry that, so that they learn the discipline of work. Everything, they learn from you. And then as they get older, they advance. And then they get, you know, thoughts of their own. But you have to set them in that course. You have to instill goodness in them. Said, wherefore, whoever spoils his son will bind up his wounds. Meaning you're going to have a stubborn and rebellious child. And you're going to have to be constantly, you know, binding up his wounds. You're going to get into a lot of ruckus. And he will suffer heartache at every cry. An unbroken horse turns out stubborn. An unchecked son turns out headstrong. So if an unbroken horse, like a Mustang, a wild horse, is stubborn, right? So it's comparing him to a son that's unchecked. He turns headstrong. Son and daughter, they curse at their parents. They could do all types of stuff. You see, but a lot of the fault, it lies on the parents. Because a lot of parents act as if the children are friends with them or they're on the same level. For example, some parents sit down and if they smoke marijuana and do certain things like that, they sit down and do it with their children. And I don't condone the usage of marijuana by any means, but I'm just giving examples. You sit down there, your child could curse in front of you and it's okay, there's no problem. You sit there and child could just sit in the conversation while adults are speaking. So now the child doesn't feel like there's someone over them or someone superior over them. They feel equal to you. So these are the things that we fall out of. There's always should be that level of respect between parent and child. Should never feel good enough or safe enough to speak in a certain manner around you. It should always be a level of respect, because the mistake that parents make is they forget that they're the child and you're the parent. So these are the things that we have to remember and be on top of, you know. Always keep that level of respect. Always have those children have that level of respect with you. You know, be respectful, especially when they're around you. It says here, now pamper a child and he will terrorize you. Play with him and he will grieve you. play with him, meaning, you know, those same type of things. You know, it don't mean that you could never play with your child or you could never speak with your child or have a good time with your child. That's not what it's talking about. It's talking about playing with him, allowing him to do what they want to do. It says David didn't check some of his children, Amnon, you know. Say he never spoke good or bad to him. And even after, you see, and then Amnon felt like he could rape his sister Tamar. And even after he did that, David did nothing to Amnon. So those are the results of unchecking children and allowing them to do what they want to do. You have to check them. You got to nip things in the bud so that it doesn't get carried away. It says here, do not laugh with him, or you will have a sorrow with him. And in the end, you will gnash your teeth. It doesn't mean literally you can't laugh with your child or you can't have a laugh with them. Meaning, don't find they wrong cute. You understand what I'm saying? Don't find their wrong to be cute. You check that stuff from the beginning. You know, I told him not to go into that cookie jar. You know what that boy did? That boy crawled. He crawled past the living room. I didn't even see him. And he was climbing up on the bench, and I caught him with his hand in the cookie jar. I thought that was so cute. I saw him crawling. He thought I didn't see him. No, you are actually developing a thief. You know, you got to check bad things. It doesn't mean that you can't have a laugh with your child. But what it is telling you is that you got to stay on point with them. You got to drive away all that evil from them because their spirit is mischievous from when they're young. You know? So those are the things that it's speaking about. It says here, give him no freedom in his youth and do not ignore his errors. Meaning, like no freedom in his youth, meaning they don't have too much idle time. You understand what I'm saying? There's always something that should be there for them to do in order for them to understand, to respect life and what to be expected in life. You see, in those times, it was different. You know, people were living differently. There was different things that people were doing. So in those times, you know, our lazy kids that we have today, they wouldn't survive because you was working from sun up. You got up with your father. There was no such thing as, you know, at a certain age. I mean, if you were educated, it was an education from home, or if your parents had money. But for most part, when you were able to sustain and go out there, you learned how to go out there and hustle with your father. Learn how to work. It says, bow down his neck in his youth and beat his sides while he is young, or else he will become stubborn and disobey you, and you will have sorrow of soul from him. So once again, you got to understand what it's saying here. It's not, you're not just going on a rampage having, you know, beating your kids for no apparent reason. But what it's saying is that check them when they need to be checked. That time out business and stuff like that, that stuff wasn't part of our tradition. Your parents told you go get a switch. Some parents used a belt. Whatever method it was, you got it. You know? And that was part of you straightening out. Drive that foolishness far away from you. That was part of you straightening out. It says here, discipline your son and make his yoke heavy, so that you may not be offended by his shamelessness. So discipline your son and make his yoke heavy, meaning make him do some work. You got to start making them do. You shouldn't be in the house doing everything by yourself and you got sons and daughters there that could perfectly fit people. You should leave, in the summertime, you should leave a chore for them to do every day if they're at home doing nothing. That's right. Clean out that closet, get rid of everything out of it. Then the next day, make sure you clean the bathroom. You know what I mean? Clean it thoroughly. And every day they should have something to do. You know, make sure you go to the laundry, wash the clothes, fold them, put them away. Yeah, they eating your food. They're using your bathroom. They doing all the things without paying rent. I'm just saying, you know, I just come from that type of stuff. My mother worked 2-3 jobs, and I basically was her maid, you know, or servant, butler. And I'm not a maid, but butler, you know. You had to vacuum, wash dishes, clean kitchen, bathrooms. My mother used to do this thing where she used to leave like the Ajax powder on the tub. Like when she got out the tub, she just used to pour it, and you know what that meant. She used to talk in codes. That means clean the bathroom. Because it wasn't just the tub. When she did that, it was like, it's time to clean the bathroom. So we had to get on the, mainly me, I had to get on my knees, scrub that tub, scrub the walls, mop, take everything out the bathroom. That's how you clean the bathroom. You know, go clean the bathroom, scrub it, take everything out the bathroom. You can't leave anything in the bathroom. And she will leave like the new shower curtain liner or whatever there with the shower curtain she wanted up. And you just did it. You know, I had a discussion with my sons today. I said, you guys, problem with you guys is you go to sleep so late and then you wake up late in the day. So when I come home, y'all still doing the work when I'm on my way, when I'm home, and I'm getting frustrated. Y'all got to do a little bit better. You guys got to get up early, get this work done early. Yeah, because I leave chores. I leave things for, I list out, you know what I do? I get down right to their level. I use the text. And with the text, you can't say you didn't see it, because that's your means of communication. I want you to do this today. I want you to do that today. I want you to do this. Make sure there is no dishes in the sink by the time I come home, just in case I want to cook something. That sort of stuff. Because you got to point, with kids, you got to point everything out to them. You know, clean the microwave. You know, like these are things that my mother didn't have to, when she said clean the kitchen, I understood what cleaning the kitchen meant. Like, you know, anything that's dirty in the kitchen, clean it. Like, she didn't have to say it. If the refrigerator was dirty, get everything out the refrigerator and wipe it down. Back then, we used to have those refrigerators that built ice. So you used to have to defrost the refrigerator. And that was like a whole day event for those of you that know. You know, defrost the freezer part of the fridge. So that stuff we had to do, you know. But it was different. It was different. There wasn't as many distractions. You know, and children don't understand what you're really learning. What my mother taught me and making me do all of that is discipline, and that I could take care of myself at any time. If I'm by myself, I could iron, I could cook, you know, I could do anything. If I needed to sew, I could sew. I could defend myself. If I needed to plant, I could plant. I learned that from when I was young. But, well, my Ima didn't teach me that, but yeah, you got to clean the fridge. With the fridge, what my mother would do is, when they used to build up that ice, she would take everything out the freezer. And when I woke up in the morning and I seen everything out the freezer, there was no compromise. I got to do this. I got to go here. I had plans with my friends. You know, I thought that I had, you know, nope. You had to, whatever you wanted to do, you had to do it. You know, so you had to do whatever your parents told you to do. So these are the things that it's telling us that we have to do, that we have to make their yoke heavy, make them work. Some people, you know, and people mind your business. You know, oh, you're making them do too much. What is too much? when you're going out there and breaking your pockets and stuff like that. They should have a routine. Nothing is ever too much. That's right. Verse 14. Better off poor, healthy and fit, than rich and afflicted in body. You hear that? Better off poor, healthy and fit, than rich and afflicted. You better off having a little bit of nothing, but being healthy, fit, than being rich and afflicted in body. You rich, but you got to take 1 million pills just so that you could operate on a daily basis. What's the use of having a life like that? So I'd rather be poor, you know, with sufficient for me to survive, but be healthy and fit. That's why I be on my, those of you that follow me on Facebook, y'all see me almost, the days I take off is the Shabbat and rainy days, but I've been on my exercising, running, constantly doing my push-ups, my dips. Got to get back, got to get this weight down so that I could be fit and healthy. I don't want to end up with pills and all types of stuff. Knowing that later in life, everybody eventually takes some type of medication. Maybe not everybody, I'm just talking in general, but it seems like elders get on medication, whatever it might be, but you don't want to do that when you're 40 and 30 and 50, you know. We're reading in the book of Ecclesiasticus and the Apocrypha, Ben Sirach, chapter 30. We're at verse 15 right now. Some books that might be different depending on which Apocrypha you got. I have the New Oxford annotated Apocrypha. All right. It says here, verse 15, health and fitness are better than any gold, and a robust body than countless riches. A rich man will give anything up, any amount of money to stay alive and to have his health. That's right, because nothing is better than life. Gold, money, platinum, none of that is better than life. Because when you're gone, you can't enjoy that. But with life, you could get to see things and learn new things. So life is splendid when you live it in a healthy way. So in order for us to live it in a healthy way, we got to stop eating out of fast food restaurants. We can't indulge in the things that cause our bodies to deteriorate. You know, moderation. I speak to myself when I speak about this because y'all can see I'm not a small guy. The hardest thing is when you're young, and I remember I said this to a brother. I told him, I said, and I think he took my advice because when I look at him, he looks great, in great physical shape. I told him, I said, look at your Ima and look at your Abba, right? I said, obviously, you didn't get the height of your Abba, you got the height of your Ima. I said, you could eat the way that you eat right now, you're still young and your metabolism will burn it off. And you're still getting around and moving around. I said, but you want to be able to control your portions from young so that you get accustomed to it. You see, with me, when I was younger, I was in great shape, so I just ate like an animal, you know. Oh, I'll burn it off. But as you get older and you get a family and you get certain things, and you're still eating those portions, but you're not doing as much work, your metabolism slows down. So then there comes the weight and thus forth and so on. So now the battle is to learn how to eat smaller portions, which I was never accustomed to. Now I would do the workout part, but as you get older, you also need the diet and the learning how to eat a little bit, you know, cut down on your portions. I come from a Panamanian family that they eat everything with rice. You're making spaghetti, put a cup of rice on the side. You're making soup, you gotta drink soup with rice. That's how it is. You got, so you know that rice you get accustomed to eating that rice. You like eating rice. You eat a lot of it, and that stuff puts on weight. You know, as you go along and you start learning certain things. So it's like moderation, trying to cut down. And I'm speaking to myself. You see, I'm teaching the lesson, but I'm speaking to myself as well as speaking to all of you that are listening out there. So, you know, health is better than wealth all the time. That's basically what this verse is telling you. There is no wealth better than health of body, and no gladness above joy of heart. You heard that? There is no wealth better than health of body, and no gladness above the joy of heart. Death is better than a life of misery, and eternal sleep than chronic sickness. So this is the other thing. And this is more for children with parents. What you have to begin to do, and I learned this from listening to a show on NPR, and they were speaking about when parents get older, that a lot of the time children don't want to let go. I mean, it's a natural thing. But what the program was saying about parents is, like, when they're still well and in good strength and with they thoughts being intact, that you should videotape them, almost videotape them giving the last will and testament, right? Like if so-and-so was to happen to you, like, what would you want? You know, do you want to be hooked up to a machine? Do you want to do this? Do you want to do that? Like, what would you want? You see, one thing I learned about elders is that they're strong mentally. They've already lived, so they're ready to go. You'd be like, no, but they could do this. They'd be like, no one is going to cut me. You're not going to cut me. That's it. I live my life. I'm happy with my life and how long I lived it. You're not going to cut me. I'm not going to go through all that. And the children can't understand. They lose their mind. But it's better to go to the grave than to live in a life of misery, you know, all types of treatments that you got to take. I don't want to be specific because some people might be going through certain things and I don't want them to misconstrue the message. But sometimes parents get to a point where they already had enough. You know, they 80-something years old. Like, no, don't cut me. You know, I'm good. I'm good with how I live my life and what life had to offer me. You know what I'm saying? It's like my grandmother. My grandmother was like, look, all right, you cut off one toe. Now you want to cut my foot off. No. She was like, just let the gangrene spread. I'm ready to die. That's it. You know, I'm not going to live with a foot cut off. I already had to do that with my husband. I had to carry him around, wipe him, and do all types of stuff. She had to do that with my grandfather. Not my biological grandfather, but this was the man that I grew up knowing as my grandfather. And she was like, no. And my mother and my aunt and them, they couldn't understand it because it was like, you could still live. You know, nothing is wrong with you. They just want to cut the foot. She was like, no. Just let the infection set in. And you couldn't force her. And she passed away. And that was that. You know, she was ready to go at that point. What can you do? But she didn't want to live that life of misery. People walking around. And my grandmother was a woman that got around and walked and did everything and did things on her own, even in her old age. But she didn't want to walk around depending on people carrying her and wheeling her in a wheelchair and stuff like that. She didn't want that. So those are the type of things, you know. It says here, verse 18, good things poured out upon a mouth that is closed are like offerings of food placed upon a grave. Of what use to an idol is a sacrifice, for it can neither hear nor smell. So, you know, You ever notice people, they go to grave sites or they go to idols and they leave food in front of it and all. So what uses that to him? He says, just like taking food to a grave site. The dead can't eat because they're dead. They can't consume anything. You know? So what uses they're taking food to an idol? You know, these are the things that our people do, the idiotic things that our people do, that our people been doing. Sacrificing to idols and stuff like that, that's no benefit to you. Yes, in the Bible they were like, I'm getting ready to die, let me bless you. And then they went and died. No tubes, no medicines, no craziness. Now we want to hold on until they turn into a shell. Right. That's true. You know, I often think about these great entertainers, right? People that we think have such great lives. And then they die young. Look at Michael Jackson. Look at Whitney Houston. They were relatively young. They were in their 50s. Prince, they were still in their 50s, but they were young. You figure they had the best of health. They had the best care that money could buy. But life takes a hold on you. Right? And what I notice about a lot of entertainers, because the Most High tell us to do things in moderation, and they really don't do things in moderation because they got to go from city to city, be on those planes, be uncomfortable, bus rides, constantly dancing, putting a strain on your voice. All that takes a toll on you. The one thing that all three of the people that I named had in common was they all were taking opioids. I don't know so much if Whitney was taking an opioid, but she might have been, because Whitney was doing almost everything. I mean, she just ruined her life. But Mike said he began to take the painkillers after the accident with the Pepsi commercial that burnt off half of his hair. So they gave him some pain killing medication, and he became addicted then. So much to the point that he got his own personal doctor to administer painkillers intravenously, So we getting some advice here. It says, having the right person to be a healthcare proxy is important, that they may help fulfill your wishes, even at a time when you're unable to make conscious decisions. Absolutely. And that person is usually your spouse or a child, a trustworthy child, whatever it might be, Suffering with chronic illness is tough, yes. So those are the things. You look at Prince. I didn't realize that he was on painkillers, until they came out and said he died of a drug overdose. But then when you look at Prince walking around with heels and performing, and he was a mess. Well, I mean, that's to say the least. But I'm just trying to stay in the topic. With that constant grind and performing, Whitney from when she was young, and then abuse herself with the drugs and stuff like that. That stuff takes a toll on you. Even with the marijuana and people saying, it's natural, whatever it might be, everything that you do too much of takes a toll on you. Just like food, just like sugar, anything, it takes a toll on you. And they left at a relatively young age. So, but I bet you that when they was about ready to check out, that they would have given all their money just to live another day, just to live another week, another hour, 3 hours to try to figure it out. They would have given it all up, because there's nothing better than living. And dying is peaceful when everything is at peace. Because that's a day that inevitably we all gonna go to, some sooner than others, but we ultimately gonna take that ride on that hearse. or whatever's options, you know, people take course to do. But yeah. He said, no way Prince was murdered. Oh, okay. Okay. But you know, when you look, just at great entertainers from Jimi Hendrix, you know, a lot of people dying of drug overdoses and stuff like that, and things of that manner. Prince was on narcotic medications. Y'all people are crazy out there. It says, for it can neither eat nor smell. It's talking about of what use to an idol is a sacrifice, for it can neither eat nor smell. He can't eat or smell it. So to bring sacrifices to an idol is null and void. So is the one punished by Yahweh. He sees with his eyes and groans as a eunuch groans when embracing a girl. Oh boy, the writer of this stuff really went deep. For so is the one punished by Jehovah. He sees with his eyes and groans as a eunuch groans when embracing a girl. Yeah, because a eunuch gonna groan because he can't do nothing. He don't got the tools to perform with that girl, you know, with that woman. So all he could do is groan. Little humor. Verse 21, do not give yourself over to sorrow and do not distress yourself deliberately. Don't start feeling sorry for yourself. Don't start thinking that, you know, like, oh, woe is me. Man, take your bumps, your bruises, and move on. Life is life. It comes with lumps and bumps and bruises. But move on, you know. Don't make no sense to be dwelling on the same thing over and over because it just makes no sense, you know. So those things we have to be aware of. It says, a joyful heart is life itself, and rejoicing lengthen one's lifespan. Stop concerning yourself with others and enjoy your life, man. I always tell y'all, go let your feet touch some sand. Experience the world. There's nothing in Torah against that. Just keep your godly ways wherever you go and go enjoy yourself. You only get one life to live. If you want to go to Europe, if that was your dream and your desire, save some money and go to Europe and go visit the countries in Europe. If your dream and your desire was to go to Israel, save some money and go over there. If you want to go to Africa, if you want to go wherever you want to go, do it. Like the song said, do it till you're satisfied. Whatever it is, do it. Do it till you're satisfied. Just do it. But always keeping Yah in mind. That's it. CHOKMAH said he been to 6 continents. So the only one he ain't been to is Antarctica. You know the wealth of knowledge that he amassed going through all those places? Gotta go and enjoy yourself. That's right. Imam Havared said, I sure did. It was beautiful. Can't wait for the next time. Yeah. Gotta enjoy yourself. You gotta enjoy life. It says here, indulge yourself and take comfort and remove sorrow far from you, for sorrow has destroyed many and no advantage ever comes from it. Yeah, man, you always suffering and woe is me and you want to pass that down to people, man. That stuff brings on stress, like I said last week. It brings on stress and it releases that chemical that my brother Rishon said last week that I can't remember, that causes your demise, your quick demise. So we need to move away from that and be strong. How do we go on vacation? That was the question. Speaking on vacation, how do we observe Shabbat when we're on vacation? You go in your hotel room or wherever you're staying. When I go on vacation, when I go to Panama, my brother already knows the room that I stay in. He already knows. He was like, that guy's going to stay locked up the whole day. I might come out and say hi and, just don't be a stranger to the house. But for most part, I'm in the rooms, resting, watching services because they got internet so I could watch services. And I enjoy myself on the Shabbat day. That's it. If you in the Bahamas or Barbados, the same thing. You got a hotel room you staying in, you lock yourself in the hotel room. It don't mean because you're on vacation that you could, I'm on vacation, so time out for Shabbat. I don't got to do Shabbat. I'm on vacation for Shabbat too. Shabbat is in all your dwellings, throughout all your generations. We got to keep it. So that's how you keep Shabbat, my sister. Verse 24, jealousy and anger shorten life, and anxiety brings on premature old age. Wow. Jealousy and anger shortens life because you're so concerned about somebody else that, man, your blood pressure going up, everything is out of whack because of your own feelings. It says, and anxiety brings on premature old age. Always anxious, restless, don't know what to do. Always this, all that. Man, that stuff makes you old quick. So stay young and enjoy life. Stay positive. Those who are cheerful and merry at table will benefit from their food. Yeah, if you're happy and you're merry at the table, you're going to benefit. You're going to get the nutrients from eating. And you're going to eat the right stuff. So with that, hoping and praying that you've gotten something out of the lesson. I'm tired, so I almost gave you all a whole hour. So it was great being here with y'all again. May the Most High God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob bless each and every one of you. Don't forget to share and subscribe. Oh, one other thing. For those of you that may not know, let me see. Let me look for it. I need to find something. I need to share something with my peoples. See if I could share from this vantage point. All right, people, we need our drummers, our young drummers, along with some of the senior drummers. They did a video. I don't know if any one of you saw it, but they did a video with a company called just give me a second. Conga Head. Basically, Conga Head is ran by the man who created like the most, how do you say it? The biggest how do you say it? The biggest conga manufacturing company, LP, Latin Percussion, Martin Cone. So he invited the brothers over to his house to record a new video. And you know how we do it. We do it with praising the Most High God. We're not ashamed to do that as Israelites. So for those of you that might have not seen the video, it's a song that we always do, Kwadosha. I'm going to try to put the link up here. Hopefully it works. And I want y'all to share that link. Press on the link. Share the link. Let's give it some more views. It's a song. It's a song that you could listen to today. So you could press on it right after we get off here. I want everybody here to press on it. Share it on your social media. Let's drive up the views. Let's support Israel. Let's support our brothers, right? Let's support us. So please, just check it out. I'm going to come off right now. So hopefully y'all will look at it and enjoy it and leave some feedback underneath the comments. I want to see comments from everybody here, man. There's a bunch of y'all that comment here. That comment here on this. It doesn't take anything just to click on the link. Listen to it. It's a beautiful Shabbat song. You're going to see our children. And then leave a comment, leave your like and your support. Let people know that you were there. Let the young brothers know that you were there, that you supported them, make them feel good about what they're doing, okay? So now I'm finally going to say, La Tov to everyone. May the Most High bless each and every one of you. Shalom, shalom. See you tomorrow, 11 a.m. right here on this channel. Shalom, shalom.